Hi, this is Mark Reagan from Christ Church, and in previous videos I've talked about how to read a key signature when you see a cluster of sharps or a cluster of flats at the beginning of your staff. How do you read that? But oftentimes in music, and particularly this is the case if you're a beginning piano student, you see music and there's actually no key signature there. It's empty. There's no key signature. So what do? No key signature? Let's get into it. So in previous examples, we've looked at key signatures such as we have our treble clef there, treble clef staff, and so we put a single flat there. We call this flat then fa. And that we know that because I've taught you this silly little rhyme which goes, to find out the do, la, or name of the key, the last flat is fa, and the last sharp is ti. So if we go into another key, let's say that we're in the bass clef staff here, and I want to put some sharps there. Let's do 3 for kicks. So this last sharp is T then. To find out the do, la, or name of the key, the last flat is fa, the last sharp is T. But when we encounter a situation where you're given your clef, but then this is left blank, there's nothing there. In fact, it goes on, you get more information. Let's say you have a time signature of 3/4. All right. The ordinary order of things would be clef, key signature, time signature. All right, but there's nothing there. So what do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? In a previous video, I explained what middle C is. I explained what the grand staff is. So what I'm going to talk to about next, I'm going to relate to that. I'm going to relate this information to a previous video where I introduced middle C. When we have no key signature, this is just a rule that you can memorize. We're probably in C, probably in the key of C major. Many of you probably know that. I heard someone say that, like in communism, we have the people. Well, C major is the people's key. That is the easiest key. It is the key that on the keyboard. It requires really nothing to do other than just to play on the white keys of the piano. You don't have to think about anything else. Just play on the white keys of the piano. That's what the key of C is. And so in notated music, then we have no key signature. We have no sharps or flats, so we can assume we're in the key of C. All right, so if I was to cite an example of a hymn that many people know, Rejoice the Lord is King. When that starts, and I'll just take a moment to notate it here. So the melody of Rejoice the Lord is King, treble clef, it is in 4/4. That just means 4 quarter notes grouped together. All right, so we have this fairly familiar hymn tune here. Rejoice the Lord is King. It starts on our middle C. Rejoice the Lord is King. And if we want to think about this in terms of these syllables, we're in the key of C major, which means C, this middle C, is our do. All right. Now this melody is very jagged. So take my word for it as I write these down. So we have do, mi, do, come back to do, sol, mi, we had a mi before, and then do again. All right, so we have 2 low Cs, or 2 low dos, and then 1 high do as well. Now I picked this one because it is actually, as I was flipping through the Cantus Christi, it's actually one of the few hymns that is in C major. And you'd think, well, I mean, C major is such an easy key. Why wouldn't have more hymns in the key of C, right? If you're a beginning piano player and you're learning to play hymns, wouldn't you like to play hymns in C? Yes, but the key of C is not always the best key to sing in. And part of the reason it's a hard key to sing in is because the soprano voice, which carries the melody usually, doesn't like to sing a lot of Cs, particularly low ones, right? When you get up to high ones, it can be a little bit easier and more challenging depending on the situation. But when we're singing this particular tune, we actually don't hang out down here too much. Rejoice, the Lord is King. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. It actually spends a lot of time up high. And this is confirmed when we finally get to the last line of the song. I'll sing from the middle. So we have kind of the middle of the range going high. Lift up your heart. Down low. Lift up your voice. Rejoice again, I say. Rejoice. It's almost like the tune itself is repulsed by the low range of it. It wants to get away from it, right? So where we start low is really not where we spend most of our time. That tune wants to, in fact, get away from that low range because those low notes for a lot of people are uncomfortable. They're just too low to sing, and they don't have necessarily the brilliance and the carrying power that a tune like this, a tune that celebrates the kingship of Christ, really relishes in. So, although a tune in C major might start low, many times it doesn't actually stay there. It doesn't stay in that low range. So the key of C major is not always a real common key for a lot of hymns. Those soprano parts are easier to sing in another key that's higher up than the key of C. As you're navigating different tunes and you're trying to understand the concept of key signature, look out for those tunes that you have where you have no key signature at all. It's likely that it's in the key of C, not necessarily, because it could be in a minor key as well. But if you're looking for that, what you're looking for is a predominance of the note C, right? If we were in another key, right, such as this key, we have Fa, Mi, Re, Do is here. So in this key, we'd expect a predominance possibly of that particular note. So the hope is that as you're learning to read these key signatures and understand how the key signatures work, you can navigate the song. You're not going to do it perfectly, certainly not the first time. This is a skill that you have to practice and revisit. But over time, you get a better feel for how the key signature works and what are the important pitches in the songs that you're singing. Thanks for watching.